The Tensor chart heat map. So first off, I want to start by saying I'm not paid or endorsed by Tensor charts at all. I just love talking about cool things that I stumble upon, and I want to share them with y'all so that you have access to it as well. Now, that said, Tensor charts, if you if you want to reach out or anything, you got my email. But this is a super awesome tool that you can use for free. There are paid variations as well for order flow on crypto as well as other things with paid data feeds. So you can see resting orders, where they are, the size of them, the delta ratio per candle, large orders. I mean, the list goes on and on. If you've used things like Jigsaw Trading or Bookmap, they have very similar platforms where you can see resting orders. But one of the big reasons why I love this one is mainly to see visually where the large blocks of orders are hitting the market that could spark potential stop moves or limit orders, stops, whatever, from happening. And along with that, this is just visually a little bit more appealing when compared to some of the other platforms. It offers up a lot more things like a nice little bid-ask dome, and when you highlight over it, you can see that it puts it directly on the price. So I can see, oh, hey, standard deviation 1. I can hover there, and I can see exactly where that is visually on the screen. It makes it really, really useful. Along with that, there's all kinds of different things like trade feed, volume, and you can also have the book counter. Now, the cool thing is if you start this will actually track the incoming order flow and see what kind of orders are actually hitting the market in terms of size. So if you're looking for, as an example, an entry location, if you were in an area that I wanted to find as a zone to be a buyer or a seller, I could simply start the book counter and see what kind of flow is coming in here. Is it heavier to the downside, heavier to the upside? What is all lining up inside of here? Now, this also has a lot of really, really cool features. Let me stop that really quick here. So let's start off by zooming into the chart itself. The chart itself is going to show a lot of stuff. And actually, let me zoom in a little bit here. What we're seeing here, first off, these big yellow, red, orangish blocks, those are pending orders that are lifting and waiting on the market to be filled. And we can see those and why it's so useful. You can see them ahead of time, resting there and waiting there. So like here, this was a large chunk of volume that was waiting at about 57,000, actually exactly at 57,000, and the market broke through. The next one, 57,500. We can see the volume stacking up here at 60,000. What a shock. I would have never thought, right? So you can see all of those areas where large pending volume is resting. But not only that, if you zoom in really close, you can see even further where that volume came in on the candle by candle basis. So we can see the majority of the volume at the top was dominated by bears. A little bit bullish, a little bit bearish, but all of these are really kind of light colored. There's not a whole lot of brightness to them. That means that there really wasn't a whole lot of volume in there. When you compare it to something like this, that was a big chunk of volume. It's a lot brighter. So visually, it's very easy to discern what's going on, even if I've never seen this before. Initially, it does look a bit messy, but once we know the basics, I can look at this very quickly and say, all right, if I want to be a buyer, as an example, it appears as though there was some buy interest resting at around 56,500. There's also some more buy interest resting at around 56,000. And although the market's too far away to see it with the free version, I would almost guarantee that 55,500 and 55,000 also have volume that is waiting there. If we're looking for resistance on the upside, I can see volume that was resting above the highs. They moved down a little bit further, and it looks like they got taken out and filled. And once they filled, the market dropped. Well, that volume started off on the high. So if it is going to continue back to the top, I can now see that the volume that was holding the market down, assumably at least, well, they got out of the way. They're no longer holding the market down. They moved. If this continues back to the upside, there's not really anything to stop them anymore. And if we scrunch the chart up, now we can see the next block of resistance is going to be hovering around 58,000, which realistically, again, isn't a big surprise. So you've got what is called the heat map on the screen here. Now, there are a lot of other tools inside of this, like at the bottom of the screen, we can see the counters ratio and the overall volume. And the volume at the bottom is based on delta. You'll notice that there are two different colors inside of this, the overall color, and then there's a brighter inside color. And what that's showing you is the overall volume when compared to the buy volume or sell volume. So as an example, this big giant bar right here, that's a big volume bar. but less than half of it was actually bull volume. That's not a very good indication. That would suggest that there was a lot of selling taking place. And if we draw up from that to see where that candle was, well, guess where that was, right? Let's draw that up. That was right when the market was hitting 57,500. Well, 57,500, we already know that's a lot of selling volume because we saw it resting there. It's not like it was a big surprise. They weren't hiding it. They made it pretty obvious. So those are the nice tools that we can use for that on the bottom side there with the delta. We also have the counters ratio, which is right below that. And this is more of a visual representation of who's winning the fight. So if this is predominantly on the bull side, then generally speaking, the buyers are winning the fight. And if it starts shifting to the downside where it's on the red dots, then generally speaking, the bears are winning the fight. Now, the cool thing about this is very similar to the MACD, which I actually just did a video on a few days ago here, or it might not have come out yet. However, the upload schedule is working out. You can utilize this as a bit of a filtering tool. So if I want to go short and we've got this nice little bull pop, this is while the market is still maintaining its bearishness. So that is an opportunity to become a short. Or if we have a nice continuation to the upside and maybe this is a flag, I don't know. Well, I can utilize my confirmation tool, and those are all bullish. It's showing that the underlying, the strength underneath it, is showing more potential continuation to the upside. The order book in the middle here is fairly straightforward. This is just the bid-ask. I mean, you can't really go much beyond that. But it does show you some really useful information like standard deviation 1, 2, the VWAP. So there is some really useful information on here. And along with that, you can also see the size that's coming in there. So here, as obviously, there's a big chunk of orders that are resting right around that 55,500. Okay, well, I can see them represented way down here. Now, you can obviously increase or decrease this. You can make this more or less accurate or zoomed in, if you will. Very, very flexible in terms of how you want to adjust it, but another really useful tool. We also have the trader's feed, which is just a visualization of the time and sales here. So when there's a lot of selling volume coming in, we see that visualized as more selling volume. And you can bump this to a lot of different time frames. For the free version, you have 10 minute and 100 tick, but there are a lot of other options as well. And then along with that, a little bit further down, you've got the trades counter. And the trades counter, this is one where if you highlight over it, it's the buy and sell trades on a given interval. So intervals under 10 minutes, you can filter out by volume. And this is where it's just another way that you can kind of filter and adjust and see what's going on. So overall, for a free tool, and with even with the pricing, honestly, the pricing isn't even that bad. If we load up the pricing really quick. Yeah, here we go. So here's the pricing structure. So for the free plan, you can see kind of what you have access to, the trade history over the past 10 minutes, the update rate, which is 10 seconds and 0.7 for the trades. But if you go to some of the other ones like premium, it's only $18 a month, and that's updated every 0.8 seconds and 0.1 seconds for trades. So if you need something that's really highly accurate to get rid of the ads, to get tick charts, to get all these different things, including like drawing tools and being able to do everything directly from the chart, you can do it all from there, and it's only $18 a month if you want to use it for futures and all the other stuff that's there too at an added cost. But where this really shines is more on the crypto side for me personally, just because of its usefulness and how incredibly easy it is to use. And visually, it's just really kind of stunning. But anyway, that's just a quick little overview of Tensor charts, the heat map. It's a really cool tool. I wanted to make sure that you guys knew about it as well. So I wanted to post a video. But very interesting tool. Hopefully you find it useful and interesting and maybe something you can add to your tool belt as well. Until the next one though, like we always say, stay safe out there, keep those stops in play, and let the winners run. Until the next time, we'll see y'all then. Thanks.